Okay, let's keep moving forward here. We'll put a face on our little snowman. Just a reminder, if moving the camera around you get messed up and you don't know where you are, you can always go to View, Frame Default. View, Frame Default, and it'll put it back to where we started. If you want to see all the objects, you can go to View, Frame All. Okay. So View Frame Default in the viewport and View Frame All. Those are two handy things that you can do. As a reminder, again, if you get lost, if I hit the letter O on the keyboard, it will frame the selected object. Okie dokie. So O will frame the selected object. Let me go to View Frame All again. So here we are. Okay, let's put a face on our snowman. And we'll use the 4 views here eventually, but let's take things one step at a time here. In the under the drop-down menu for our parametric primitives, click it, and you'll find something that's called platonic. We'll pretend it'll mimic coal, pieces of coal for eyes. So click on platonic, and it's going to be huge. I'm going to drag the object up by the y-axis. By the way, I frequently pull things up, out, and away by the y-axis from the model and do the adjustments there. I like to keep things on the y-axis. Anyway, okay, so here I am. Here's this big platonic object, which is supposed to be an eye. So I'm going to make a guess that about 10 centimeters. Let's look at the radius here is 100 centimeters. I think about 10 centimeters will be a nice size for a piece of coal. Remember, our little head here is 70. So anyway, with the new platonic object selected, turn to the attribute manager and type in the number 10. And yes, I can size this like manually, with the scale tool or whatever. It's much easier for me just to type in parameters. And while I'm at it here, let's come to the word platonic here, and let's call it I. All right, so the I's in the wrong place. So I'm going to pull it down here, and that's kind of sort of where it belongs, I guess. Who knows? It's buried in his head. So this is where we can use the 4 views. As a refresher, remember we can come up here to the right, upper right on the viewport and click this icon to get to the 4 views, and then use that same icon on whatever view we want to enlarge it, or much easier, just hover over your workspace and click the middle mouse button. So what do I got here? I got my perspective view, that's cool. Okay, then I got the right and front view. Now, front in the world of Cinema 4D is along the z-axis. Think of it this way: the blue z-axis arrow points to the back of the world. So this is where my cursor is right now. This is the front of the snowman, and this is going back behind him. And this is review. I covered this in the intro videos. Okay, so what I want to deal with is the front view to make his face. So I'm going to put the focus here on this front view. Let me select the eye again because I lost the selection. If I hit the letter O, it frames the object. That's not helping me much. I got to move out a little bit. So now I can see where the eye is positioned relative to the head. Whether you can see it on your screen or not, I'll zoom way in here. I hope you can see the head and you can see the eye. Now, if I grab, there's a couple, what I want you to do is get used to moving stuff around. Let's look up in the top view, and I'm going to just hover over it and wheel in with my mouse. If I grab the Z axis and pull it forward, take a look over in your perspective view, and I'll zoom out. So I'm moving this thing, I'm clicking, holding, dragging on the top view, and I'm looking over at the perspective view to make sure that the eye is coming out at the correct place. One thing I want you to do in this project is get used to using the 4 views of, like, it's logical if I want to move the thing forward to grab the z-axis from the top view. Okay, I can't do anything here in the front view. Also, keep an eye on what's happening in your perspective view. So, like, if I grab this and pull this out too far, well, that's, not going to work, right? Of course. That looks pretty good. And I can come over here to my perspective view, hold down the Option key, and rotate, and I can see what I got. What I got here is a Cyclops snowman. So, in the front view, and I could do this in the top view too, but I'm going to use the front view. I'm going to, like, grab the X axis, X arrow, and pull it over. And as I'm pulling it over here in the front view, I'm looking up at the perspective view in the upper left, and that looks pretty good. Now, take a look at the attributes down here in the position. As I move the eye back and forth, you can see the X position has changed. It went to negative 19.491, which is a real goofy number. And that's just from, I was just eyeballing it. I was just seeing, like, how things looked. I'm going to change this to negative 20. I'm going to round it up to a number I can deal with. And that makes sense. Okay, so now this is negative 20. Why did I do that? Well, I'll show you. Okay, once again, looking at perspective view, eye looks great. Okay, just like anything else, like in Adobe products, you can do a Command or Control C, as in cat, to copy, Command Control V, Victor, to paste. Command C, with the eye selected, I just copied it. Command Victor V, paste, I just paste it. There's one stuck on top of another one. So in the front view, I'm going to grab the x-axis and pull it off to the side, and sure enough, there it is. Now, yes, I could, this is, an organic object, so to speak, and I could kind of fake it, just position it wherever the hell I want to. But just to make sure that's, for this exercise, just to make sure it's precise. Now, this first eye, I set at negative 20. So the second eye, all I got to do is set it to 20, positive 20. And there it's positioned symmetrically within the head. Let's go back to our perspective view, and I'm going to just hover over it and click the middle mouse button and see where we are. I'm going to hold down the Option key and rotate. And it's a little bug-eyed, okay? So I can adjust that. And again, for this cute little snowman project, we don't have to be super duper precise, because it's, and when we finish this up, we'll probably rotate the eyes to make it look more credible and so on. All right, let's go to our object manager and take a look here. We got eye and eye1. I guarantee that it will help you immensely if you keep track of what's left and what's right. This eye is the right eye of the snowman. It's not the eye on the right, it's his right eye. So if I turn him around, that's the eye on his right. So over in the object manager, call it eye right, RT. And this is naming convention that I use. It's just me. It's just I do this from years of doing this. If you have like a left, right, or a back or a front, give the name of the object first, and then tell its position. It just makes it easier. And we'll organize this much later in the demo here. Okay, so if you missed some of that, just rewind. What you should have now is a head, base, or base, middle, head, and 2 coal eyes. And I'll see you in the next video.